Thank you, everybody, for coming today. Well, listen, this is another very exciting moment and a positive moment for the state of Ohio. You know, in many respects, as I've reflected on this process, this was in some ways, a much more difficult budget to be able to adopt than even the budget we had as we faced an $8 billion hole. The reason I would say that is when we were $8 billion in the hole, there were some that were demanding tax increases. That would be like a restaurant that had no customers raising their prices, and that was not an alternative for us or a choice. So as we went through that process, there was clearly an emergency in the state. The loss of 350,000 private jobs, an $8 billion hole, was really a meltdown. I think Ohio was just about on its last legs, to tell you the truth. You know, but we did a lot of things, and as you know, the $10 billion swing in and of itself is breathtaking. To go from an $8 billion hole to a $2 billion surplus would make any CEO of any major global company even proud. And to see the kind of growth that we've had in jobs, up now 170,000 private sector jobs. Our credit is strong and healthy, you know, we're really in pretty good shape and we're growing. I'm very proud of the fact that the CEOs across the country are beginning to recognize how well Ohio's doing. I mean, it's one of our biggest remaining problems is being able to market this state. But the CEO survey that takes us from 44th, business friendly, all the way down to 22 now with a 13-place jump is really heartening. It means that people around the country are beginning to really look at Ohio. And I must stress again the importance of Jobs Ohio. It's an entity that you are going to find states around the country beginning to think about how to duplicate, because we now have very smart people being able to communicate with very smart business leaders. Ohio faced, you know, whether we're going to go forward, whether we're going to have more momentum, because the easiest thing to do in politics when things are going better is to take your foot off the gas. And I am extremely happy with what has been accomplished in this budget. And I am extremely proud of my partners, the Speaker of the House, the President of the Senate, and the other members that participated, along with my staff, our Budget Director, the Chief of Staff, Wayne Struble, the whole legislative team. This is an incredible accomplishment. Any one of these things, I think, for those who have been here a long time, people who have observed for a long time, people actually like Joe Hallett, would understand that any one of these pieces are really very significant. If we start with the turnpike, which was actually part of this budget and part of our initiatives, you know, when we started it, there was great reaction against the fact that there was anything we could do with that turnpike to improve the state. Now everybody claims that it was their idea, which makes me very happy. We're going to have, over time, about $3 billion of infrastructure improvement without having to raise taxes on Ohioans. I mean, it really is really good thinking, a really good program. We should be entering the market sometime this summer, although the markets are not as good as I'd like them. But Jerry Ray and his team, the people that run the turnpike, they're on top of it. And we would expect that we would get our first tranche soon, and we begin to take on these vital infrastructure projects. The turnpike in and of itself would be something that most governors would claim as something they achieved over 4 years. We got it done in about 6 months because of the strength of the team. I'm glad to be part of the team, but without the team, nothing gets done. Secondly, I am absolutely thrilled with the provisions in this budget that create an emphasis on graduation for those that enter community colleges and four-year schools. According to the university community, this is the most significant change that we see among any institution in the country. When you stop and think about how many students enter our very expensive four-year schools, spend 2 years and drop out, have no certificate, no degree, nothing to show other than on the high bills, and now that the universities, which I think are a crown jewel for our state, the universities, the community colleges, if we can continue to work together, I think the sky's the limit. I hope we can continue to. At this point, though, the achievement of paying 50% of the costs of people who enroll and the other 50% of the cost of these schools upon graduation will absolutely mean that moms and dads should have more confidence that their children will get a degree from our schools. And secondly, for those who are kind of going back into education, that they have a much better chance of being shepherded through. It's a fantastic accomplishment. I'm thrilled with it. The tax bill. The tax bill is so vital. I think that the $2.6 billion of tax cuts, I have not checked all around, but I think it's probably the biggest tax cut of any state in America. The reason why this is so critical is because I have to deal with CEOs. I have to deal with people who make decisions about where they're going to locate jobs. The small business tax cut sort of speaks for itself. Over 50% of those who work in Ohio work in small businesses. I do not think that the small business owners across the state even understand what is in this bill, because when they do, they're going to be thrilled. You have a small business that is going to be able to exclude the first $125,000 of $250,000. What a boon for a small business. This is going to mean that businesses are going to be able to reinvest. It means that these small businesses will be healthier. It will mean that these small businesses will be able to grow jobs. I actually believe this is the most underreported part of this budget. And I tell you, small business people are going to be more excited about this than they are the $1 billion cash refund out of workers' comp, which, by the way, was not a bad accomplishment all at the same time. The rates are too high in Ohio. I know some do not understand this, but what we intend to do is we intend to emphasize incentives for those who take risks, those who create jobs, and for those who work. And we believe that that consumption being rewarded is not the smartest economic policy, because our economic policy is designed to grow jobs. For those that criticize this tax plan, most of them are the ones that delivered us a $350,000 unemployment bill and an $8 billion hole when we came in. We are moving in the right direction on taxes. We have to continue to cut taxes. I have a commitment from the leadership that we will sit again before too long and try to figure out how we can do even more. I particularly want to single out Scott Olschlager for his incredible work on this and his dogged determination in the conference.